So I keep getting this question asked by sellers on appraisals. What do you think about the appraisal? What do you think about the appraisal? I think it all comes down to pricing. So when you hire a professional, we're gonna price your home at the current market rate. We're not gonna overinflate the price to get your business. That does nobody any good.
Right.
We're gonna price your home where it's going to appraise.
Yeah. And a lot of buyers have questions about the appraisal. So the appraisal is an out-of-pocket expense for the buyer when they're buying. The cool thing about that is it's the buyer's appraisal. They don't have to share it with the seller. They get that and they get to keep it.
And all the seller knows is that if it came in at value
Yep.
or under value, they'll never know if it came above value.
Mm-hmm. And the appraisal is to verify that the purchase price of the home is that if the lender had to take the home back, that they could recoup that money. So they're just kind of verifying that purchase price. So it's a good security for the buyer.
And a lot of, I get this question with buyers, well, I want to waive my inspection because it's getting an appraisal. That is, an appraisal is not an inspection. Yes, they're going over the home to make sure there's no major defects, but that's not an inspection.
Right. The lender will sometimes call it an inspection, so it gets a little confusing sometimes, but it is an appraisal. And sometimes the appraisal gets waived by the lender.
Right.
Because the buyer's putting so much money down. So that sometimes is neat. If the buyer is buying the home with cash, they can opt in to get to doing an appraisal,
right,
so that they can verify that purchase price and have that peace of mind.
It's a good contingency to keep in place.
Yeah, for sure. So we get the question a lot, what happens if the appraisal doesn't come in at value? What do you do?
We can renegotiate at that point. The seller can either terminate the contract or we can renegotiate the price.
Yeah, and this is happening a lot. We were working with some buyers. They've been looking in a particular neighborhood for a long time, and we did notice that a house came on the market. It seemed like a really high price in our opinion, but this was the neighborhood and the school district and everything that the buyers
were in
wanted.
love with it.
So we came in and we got it under contract, and when the home got appraised, it came in $20,000 low. So our buyer had three options. They could rescind on the purchase and sale. They could come up with the $20,000 difference and pay cash for that.
Or the seller could reduce the price.
Or renegotiate.
On this particular transaction, the seller didn't want to do anything. So our buyer withdrew his offer. The house ended up sitting on the market for probably 2 to 3 more weeks. And then the seller's agent contacted us, would your buyer like to purchase this home at the lesser amount? The buyer was ready and willing, and we got it together. It
was a little stressful because the buyer had to wait 2 to 3 weeks, but they ultimately got the price that they deserve, or that the market would bear. So one thing that sellers don't often know about appraisals is if you get your home appraised, that appraisal sticks with your home for 6 months. And so if the home appraises at a certain price, it's really, really tough to go back at a higher price on the market.
Right. That's one of the things that we really preach here at our office, is that you want to price the home for the seller. You want to price it accurately. You don't want to overinflate your price, because most buyers now are not coming in with the difference. They're not willing to do that. So you need to price it competitively and accurate.
Yeah, and when we do our trainings, even if you're an experienced agent and you join our office, or you're a brand new agent, and we have all of our agents go through a seller's class, we train our sellers to do a market analysis the exact same way an appraiser does, so that we rarely get low appraisals on our listings. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you on our next video.